if you don't believe in Jesus and you don't follow the Bible, then I can't hold you to the standard of what the Bible said. It doesn't logically line up. But if you do, I challenge people to look at what that is and ask the Lord about it and how he feels about it.
Welcome to Lessons from Living. I am your host, Beth Graham, and we are back today to conclude this episode with Mitch Parsons. And he is going to jump right into the description of the program that he hinted about in the first segment of his interview. And I encourage you, if you haven't listened to it, please go back and catch it because it is full of such goodness. So get back there and listen to it. Otherwise, we are moving forward, friends. So let's jump right in.
Well, this is a good place to talk about your project. I know you've
Yeah.
mentioned it a couple of times, but why
Yeah.
don't you talk about what inspired it initially?
Initially, that job that I had mentioned, I covered a territory of 16 states. I took 60 flights a year. That was really fun when I didn't have kids, because I love to travel. And I got so many flight points that my wife and I would fly everywhere for free and Hilton points for free. But it got to a point where it broke. My daughter would cry when I left for the airport and ask me not to go, and I would cry the whole way to the airport because I didn't want to go. And I was all that to say I was on one of those trips and I was in Chicago and at a Lifetime, and for sake of like essentially a woman's entire shirt fell off, if you call what she was wearing a shirt. There was no clothing, and I saw everything that I did not need to see as a married man or as not her husband. Like whether you're a single man or not, like no one needs to see that. And the shocking part outside of that I just saw a naked woman was her response was like she laughed, tucked her stuff back in her shirt, and then just went on. And I was like, this is normal. This is the culture of gym, is that complete nudity is just like a laugh and keep on going because you're already not wearing any clothes in the first place. So it's like one degree of variance is nakedness. And I called my wife, confessed to her what I saw, apologized that I saw it but then it was like kind of jarring to me that while I'm on a work trip, I'm at the gym instead of I wasn't out at the bars. I wasn't doing I was at the gym, and then I repented, which means turn and go the other way, which in that case meant like I had to quit my gym. And I'd quit 4 gyms for similar reasons, not for like seeing, well, 2 of them were because I saw similar things. And I'm not out here looking. It's just like kind of, and it's been encouraging. I posted on social, and the amount of people who have been like, gym culture is what is happening. Like what has happened. It's disgusting. This is not men, or this is not women exclusive. I mean, there are men who wear pants where I'm like, dude, I'm not even guessing what you're doing. Like you're wearing such tight pants and you're over here like standing on a box talking to a 16-year-old and you're 40. What are you doing? And like,
Really?
I got to the place where if what doesn't exist, a place where I can lift without putting one in my garage, because I didn't have the capacity to put one in my garage. I wanted to build one. And I asked the Lord if he would help me build one. I originally asked for just like, Lord, I want one in my garage, and he gave me a dream for a big one. So I'm creating a place where men are called to pursue holiness and righteousness and choosing to go against what's culturally acceptable, because as Christians, we're not to live in the world. We are not to live of the world. We're in it, but we're not of it. And I just want to provide an opportunity, a space for men. I think the funny thing is people have come on here on my social media and called me like so many fun words and nice names and been like, how dare you tell women how they can or cannot dress? And I'm not, actually. I'm saying you're dressing that certain way, and that's culturally acceptable in the world that we live in the broken world that we live in. If you don't believe in Jesus and you don't follow the Bible, then I can't hold you to the standard of what the Bible says. It doesn't logically line up. But if you do, I challenge people to look at what that is and ask the Lord about it and how he feels about it. And so I'm creating a space that's saying, you stay how you're doing over there. I'm not going to sit and shame you for it. I'm just going to create an outlet for you to choose differently. And that's what the remnant is. It's choose the remnant of Israel were people who chose to be set apart and holy, even those within the Israelites. The Israelites were God's chosen people, but the remnant of Israel was the people within Israel who chose not to intermarry with pagan culture and chose not to worship in the way that the pagans did. And so, like, this is for the Christians who are saying, I'm not going to worship the way that the world does.
Mhm. And it's more than just a gym,
Hmm.
right? Tell
Hmm.
about what else you're gonna include.
Yeah. So I've changed the name to a training center because it's holistic. My goal is to stand up men because I believe that if you teach a man that he has the authority of, if he has royal blood, he is an inheritor genuinely at its in his core. He believes I'm an inheritor of the king of the universe. That changes how he, every sphere of influence that he's in, it changes how he shows up into it. And so for myself, it changes me and it changes my marriage. It changes how I show up in my marriage. It changes from how we parent then, and that changes my family. And if enough men lead their families, then in one community, it changes a community. And so I'm creating a place where men are coming in and I'm replacing and providing alternatives for places that they're already going. The golf simulator is there's in Denver. I don't know if they're in Nashville. I'm sure they are. There are golf simulator like clubs or like bars that are all centric. And I don't drink anymore because the Holy Spirit asked me or told me that He wants to be the only thing that intoxicates me, and I said yes. So like I know there's people who drink and like that's fine. In this environment, we're not going to have alcohol. And so I'm creating a golf simulator where it is, hey, I'm going to go to the golf simulator. I'm going to hang out with my friends, and there's going to be other guys who are like minded, calling me higher and talking to me about my marriage. And there's a co working space. There are Bible study rooms. There's a self serve kitchen. There is the gym aspect. We are going to run event. We're going to have Bible studies in the evenings, and one evening a week and one morning a week for it to fit the rhythms of, because as a dad, my rhythms change.
And
I don't go to my men's ministry right now, not because it's not amazing, but because it's at 6:30 across town. That's bedtime, nap time, or that's dinner
mm,
time, bedtime. One of the little bit of time that I get with my kids if I have a long work day, like I'm not sacrificing that for. I know how important community is, but my kids are more important to me than that. And so I'm creating. I could go to a morning. My kids sleep until 7:30. So I could go to a 6 o'clock, be home by 7, and then I'm not missing anything. And so I'm creating Bible study spaces. We're gonna do marriage events. I'm gonna bring in people to teach on marriage. We're gonna do daddy daughter and daddy son events. We're gonna do like fishing trips. The whole thing is like men struggle in the church setting. The church wasn't built for men. Going and get men bond shoulder to shoulder and sweating together,
mhm,
sitting in a coffee shop talking. And I'm a pastor, or I was. My wife is a pastor. I love a good coffee date, but a lot of men do not resonate with being put in a small group with a bunch of men who they do not know, and their wives all want them to be there, and they're kind of there because their wife wants them there, and that's not how genuine friendship happens
mhm.
naturally. But for a guy to come in with little to no emotional expectation and he's just going to go to the golf simulator and hang out and spend time around a guy, and all of a sudden they're talking about their marriage and they're talking about their kids and they're talking about their job, and it's just because their walls are down and the guys that they're talking to are wired and are pursuing the same thing that they are. So the advice isn't going to be, oh, your wife's pissing you off, why don't you go to the bar? Oh, your kids are mad at you, just go to the golf course. Like, it's going to be constructive, God-centered, centric advice that comes organically.
Hmm. I just love everything about this. And I'm with you as far as the gyms go. I actually just moved to I won't I won't say the name, but I moved to a new gym. And I'm a 61-year-old woman, so you would think none of this should bother me.
Yeah.
But it made me so uncomfortable. Both the men and the women made me so uncomfortable. And I just thought, this is a place of health, supposedly, and I am being made to feel discomfort in my place of health. It's just wrong. So I really love what you're trying to do here. You
Thank
said
you.
you want, yes, you said you want to teach men to stand up against culture. You called
Yeah.
it picking a fight with
Mhm.
Goliath. And I know you did refer to alcohol and trying to focus on the Holy Spirit as your source of intoxication.
Yeah.
I'd like you to speak a little bit more to this temptation of alcohol, because I do think it's something that is so common to a lot of men who
Yeah.
just kind of make it the center of their universe. You know, they're drinking all day long, and
Yeah.
something with lunch, and if they have a meeting, there's a drink, and if they go out
Yeah.
to dinner, it's like the center of what they're doing. Can you suggest how they might shift their focus so that they seek intoxication by the Spirit?
This is one of those things for me that, and this is honestly, I think, a tactic of the enemy, but you start talking about this and people are like, you're legalistic. Oh, like one of the things that people are talking about, like, oh, are you going to wear a burqa now? You're going to like make people wear like a burqa to the gym? You're being like super legalistic and like law following. And I'm like, I think for me, and I'll talk about my own story, and alcohol to me was to numb. Alcohol to me was because men carry a lot of weight, and that weight comes with, if you're not handling it well, comes with stress, comes with anxiety, comes with, that's why a lot of men crack, that's why a lot of men drink, that's why a lot of men go to things on the internet that they shouldn't be looking at. That is, alcohol is is a pressure release, I believe, or a numbing agent, both of which men who don't fully know the goodness of the Lord, they substitute it for what he can provide. I'll go as far and as bold as to say, like, I don't know how I see, like, all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial. Like, I don't see the benefit of drinking personally because the risk is not worth the potential reward. If we follow what the Bible says and that the Bible is true, and I think we pick and choose what sin is acceptable and what sin is not. And it says intoxication is a sin. And you walk a real hard line when you're drinking. I'm just going to have one. I'll speak to, again, to myself. If you're drinking with your buddies and you have one, without you even asking, your friend sees that your beer is low, they crack a new one and they hand it to you. Or, hey, I bought a round of shots for the table. Like, you're not really, and then all of a sudden now you're towing the line of being drunk, which is sinful. And it actually says to flee temptation. It doesn't say toe the line of temptation. It says to flee from temptation. And I don't know with alcohol. I mean, it's bad for your body even in itself, but like like it is poison. The reason why you get drunk is because you're poisoning yourself, right? And
Mhm.
like I think for men, it is something that has been so culturally ingrained in us. And like I have a lot of nostalgic memories that the Lord has shown me, like for example, sitting on a bonfire with a whiskey was one of my with my friends, like beer in one hand, whiskey in the other. I associated for a long time the alcohol was the reason why we had fun. Like the alcohol was the reason why I was loose. The alcohol was the reason why we got to that point in the conversation where we were able to talk about these certain things that you probably won't even remember in the morning in its fullness. And like experiencing those same exact things minus the alcohol, to realize that the alcohol had nothing to do with the fun. It had nothing to do with the
Mm.
community. It had nothing to do. It was just something that got bolted on that didn't need to be there. The reason I stopped drinking, and this is, I think, when it comes down to it, it comes down to, are you willing to give up things? So, like, if I just read about this today, actually, in Matthew on the Sermon on the Mount, when he talks about gouging out your eye, he's not asking you to actually gouge out your eye. Like, that's crazy. It's hyperbole that he uses to be dramatic effect. It's a literary tool that the best preacher to ever live used. Like, and what he's actually asking you is to make dramatic, direct, abrupt decisions to remove sin from your life. To remove the lever that could cause you to sin, to recognize that it's not the alcohol's fault that you're drunk, it's your fault that you chose to drink the alcohol. And like for me, the gouging out of my eye was I don't know how to not go past one or two drinks. So therefore, gouging out my eye, I am no longer drinking. And I think that the fear of man is what's most important, or the fear of the Lord having dominion over the fear of man is what's important when it comes down to men and alcohol, because being drunk is fun. Like, if sin wasn't fun, then we wouldn't be tempted to do it. It's also like it puts you in a place. I have never been more tempted to be. I was in Minnesota and had a stack. I had so many Hilton stays that, like, every time I showed up, they gave me a whole bunch of free drinks to the bar. And I don't drink. We used to not drink when my wife and I drank. Jess, we would never drink apart from each other. Just a boundary that we put in, a guardrail. But I had had the travel day from hell, and I got to my hotel, and the Nuggets were in the finals, and my wife's like, "Why don't you go have a drink at the bar and watch the game? Like, just go." Well, at the bar, there were a bunch of pilots and that were all drinking, and other fans who were drinking, and I had a bunch of free drink cards, and we all of a sudden I had way too much to drink. I had more than one. I went up to my room by myself, but like I was the most tempted in my drunkenness to dishonor my wife and to dishonor the Lord and to be unfaithful to my wife, that I threw my phone across the room and said, "I'm never drinking again." And I haven't. That was over 3 years ago. I'm not in that situation if I just sat at the bar and had a Shirley Temple. Like like I'm not in that situation. So, but like, is my wife more important to me than a drink? Was like the black and white logic that it came down to. Like, was
Mm,
me having a drink more important than the sanctity and the purity of my marriage? No. And like,
mhm.
but not everybody thinks black and white. But to me, it is very black and white. It is, I'm not going to introduce, it's like in my home, I'm not going to introduce something to my home that could compromise the health and the well-being of my babies. Not going to happen. Like, black and white. Like, if there is a potential that it could, nope. There's other alternatives. I love Shirley Temples now. It's the girliest drink in the world. The people see me at 6'4", 240, and they're like, all the table's ordering beers, and I'm like, "I'll take a Shirley Temple, please." And they like, I think I'm joking. I'm like, "Shirley Temple, extra cherries." Like, like that
That's
was a
great.
lot. Yeah, thing.
Mitch, you said the gym is just a tool for what you're trying to accomplish.
Hmm.
So if you think about your vision overall, more than just the gym, what is it that you are trying to accomplish, do you think? Is it to be countercultural or is it something else?
It's not to be countercultural just to be countercultural. It is, that'll be a result of that's what's needed for the long run. I want
Mhm.
culture. I want to be a part of cultural, of changing culture, which means
Mm.
inherently, actually, I want to deconstruct and bring down what culture has been and remold it into what God has for it. And that's not going to be Mitch that does that. That's going to be men who are charged with leading our families and leading our communities, saying enough is enough. I have the authority to make a change, and now I'm going to do that. But what that would ask is, it would ask them going against what culture and Western Christian culture has adopted, and that is the gospel of comfort. The gospel of comfort says, I say yes to Jesus so that I have my 401k, so that I have the job that I want, so that I'm comfortable, so that I don't have to worry anymore. Where in reality, the gospel is going to cost you everything. Every single disciple of Jesus was crucified, hung upside down on a cross, martyred, stoned. Like, the gospel costs. And so for me, the long term is to stand up men who say, "I'm going to go against what culture says, because culture wants me numb. Culture wants me quiet. The enemy will give me good so that I compromise and sacrifice great." Like, he's so fine with me being comfortable and good. There's nothing he loves more than a sleepy Christian. And I don't want to be that. And there are men who do not want to be that. And for me, it's galvanizing men to say, because I'm nothing special. I'm not on a stage. I'm not a professional athlete. I don't have books. I don't have a following. There are more of me than there are of those people. And so we all look to those people to be like, when are you going to lead the charge? When are you going to do it? And I think what it's going to take is somebody, me, saying to the man who drives a 7-year-old truck and works a job that pays him enough to put a little bit away and to cover his bills, to say, hey, actually, abortion is not right. And that shouldn't be happening. And I know that I don't have a dog in the fight because, like, to the man that has kids in high school and him and his wife aren't going to have any more kids, and like he's not worried about how an abortion affects his family. So why am I going to worry about it? Well, I want to charge the man to say you actually should talk about that. And your voice matters. There's a lot of you. There's a lot of me where I live. Let's just say, like, we're not in Colorado, we are not super diverse. And to say that, even regardless of your economic position, regardless of your skin color, regardless, if you are a Christian, we are called to stand up and for what we believe in. And so, like, in the anti-trafficking space, a lot of men don't even know that there are men and women and children having evil, evil, evil things happen to them down the road from them. They believe it happens in another country. They see what happens in, like, babies being sold in different countries. My wife and I was sitting on a Zoom call with a friend who she started the anti-trafficking hotline, Rescue America. And we're on the prayer team for that. And so anytime that a woman calls in, we get a text that says, hey, a woman just called in from this city. Would you pray? And Allison and I are sitting on this meeting, and we both get a text that says Centennial, Colorado, which is, I'm in Highlands Ranch. If I go across the highway, it's 2 minutes down the road from me. I'm in Centennial. I'm seven. I told Allison, I was like, did you see where that is? Because she's also in Highlands Ranch. I was like, I just wish I knew where it was. She was, I can tell you. And she pulls it up. She had the address. I put it in maps. It was 7 minutes from where I was a woman calling in from a hotel that she was being trafficked in. And it blew my mind. In suburbia, whitewashed Colorado, that a woman was being trafficked and calling in to be rescued. And no man, no man that I know would believe me unless I showed them that. Unless I said, look. And so my goal is to get a group of men. Men are, we are very simple human beings, or simple, like, animals. We are not, we love, someone who said it the other day. Someone said, like, my husband is a warrior and he is a knuckle dragger. Like, he will follow what I say. Like, and I'm like, yeah, like, I don't take much. Tell me what to do and I'll go do it. But, like, we also are herd animals. You see it on social with herd mentality. If you can get enough guys to say where the cool thing is to be the one standing out and standing up against things, then the snowball starts to go. And so my goal is to go after Denver. And if Denver falls, like, the principality that sits over Denver is strong and it is big and it is powerful. But if Denver falls, matter of fact, every other city in the country can. Matter of fact, because we are in that group. We are New York, Portland, Seattle, LA, New York, Chicago, Minneapolis. Like, there are some metros where it's like they feel untouchable. But if Denver falls, it's Goliath. It shows that, like, their other ones can. And so my goal is to raise up guys who are countercultural, because culture doesn't believe in Jesus. Culture doesn't want Jesus. They're in the opposition of.
I love it. I'm so excited for you and all those men. It's exciting.
Thank you.
Well, Mitch,
Thank you.
yes, this podcast is called Lessons from Living.
Yeah.
And I ask every guest, in thinking over the course of their lives, what the things that they have learned, is there any particular lesson that rises to the top for you? I'm testing you today.
I think what has been taught to me is that if it's not Jesus, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't push the gospel forward, and again, that's not saying it has to be ministry. It's your speech. It is how you love your children. That is your ministry. That is, you don't have to be a vocational pastor to have a ministry. And even in your things, this thing right here, if this Nintendo Switch controller, I love my Switch, but if it's not Jesus and he asks for it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If it is not, my wife says something, and I think she stole it from Stephanie Gretzinger. So we'll say Jess via Stephanie Gretzinger. But, like, it's really not that hard. All he wants is everything. Like, all he wants is everything. And he's asked for everything in my life. Like, everything. And I've learned by giving it to him that that's the best thing that you can do. you only get to experience certain levels of Jesus, I believe, in desperation and in dreaming. That's when he is, that in my experience, when I dream big and I am desperate, and one feeds the other, if we're honest. I've only experienced Jesus in the nearness that I have in those two environments, in those two circumstances,
Mm.
because the result is, God, I've done everything in my power. I've done everything in my ability. I've done everything in the giftings that you've made me this way, and still there's a chasm between me reaching what I need and what I can do. If you don't show up, that delta will not go away. Like, I will look like a fool. My family will fail. My business will fail. And you are a good God. And so I'm actually calling on you right now to say, like, defend your name. Like, I'm not building this gym to build Mitch's name. I'm building this gym to bring glory to you. And so if you don't show up, I don't look silly. I've given you credit the whole time. You look silly. Like, and he doesn't want to look silly. He won't look silly. And he won't let my family fail. He fed the Israelites through manna and through like birds that randomly fell from the sky, and like he brought water from a rock. Like, he's not going to let you fail. It's just he wants to see you say, "Hey, I believe fully that you will provide, and that I don't need to." And so I would say that that's my lesson is, if
Okay.
it's not Jesus, you don't need it. And if he
Okay.
asks, the answer is yes.
Excellent. Well, how might people get in touch with you, Mitch?
So they can follow me on Instagram. My
Okay.
Instagram is, I should know this. Let's see what it is. Let me pull it up real quick. Mitchell Parsons 80. I also have my gym account, which is the Remnant Gym. They can email me at mitch@theremnantmen.org. Um, we are in a place right now where Nehemiah did not build the wall by himself. Nehemiah asked the king if he could, and then he brought everybody else along for the ride. I am in a place right now where, if you are resonating with what we're talking about, with the gym, with any of this, I don't need your money. I do need your money. I'm not simply asking for your money. Like, your skills, your network, your abilities, your prayers, first and foremost. I should have said that first. We're picking a battle with Goliath. And I would really like to not be David out there by myself swinging. I would like for a whole army to be behind me. And so, yeah, email, Instagram. I think that would probably be the two best ways.
Okay. Excellent. Well, it's my opinion that you are still serving as a pastor. I think you've proven that today.
Oh,
I
thank
really,
you.
yes, I just so appreciate your wisdom and just all of the things that you have shared that will resonate with so many people I know. So thank you so much for your time. I'm really
Oh,
grateful.
thank you. Truly, this was an honor to be asked. I know just from having my own podcast, like, it is not a small ask to have somebody come on to something that you're building. You're trusting me to come on. And so I appreciate the trust. I appreciate the ask, and I look forward to continuing to do this.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you
Yes, ma'am.
and watching this whole process unfold. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, when I come out to Nashville next, we can grab a coffee, or some hot
Okay.
chicken. Go to
Uh,
Hattie B's.
that would be awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks
Well,
again,
thank you,
Mitch.
Beth.
I told you this was going to be a fun conversation. I'm sure you are as inspired and excited as I am. I hope you will share this news of Mitch's vision with other people you know and help him make it a reality. Mitch shared a verse with me off mic after the interview, and I think it's a fitting one to end this episode with today. It is Hebrews 10:36, and it says, "For you have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised." He shared that his family is in that time of endurance now, so they could really use your prayers for finances to make this dream a reality and to make the way for the logistics necessary for this program to happen. I'm so grateful that you're with me today. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Go out and make it a great day.